In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Xero to send out monthly recurring invoices in order to collect your rent. This means that payments for your rent can be collected automatically. Watch it now for a demonstration. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it then. You've on your Xero dashboard screen. The first thing you need to do is set up a new contact. So whoever the person is who pays your rent, so your tenant, you need to set up him as a contact. Before we continue, this is only going to work if you self-manage your properties. So if you're using an agent, then clearly they're going to be sending an invoice out to the tenant on your behalf and collecting the rent and then paying it to you. But this is a way to do it if you self-manage. It's a way to keep track of your rents and make sure you know if someone's going to not pay you the correct amounts. So yeah, watching for the demonstration. So let's go into contacts, all contacts, new contact. I'm going to give the contact's name. So let's call this person Bill Smith. And you can put their details in below as well. Importantly, you need to have their email address. So let's put bill@smith. Then we're going to save and close. It's because that person, so you can see that's now one of our contacts. And because that person is now in our contacts list, it enables us to basically link them to a recurring invoice. Sorry to interrupt the video, but if you find this video useful, please remember to like and subscribe for further content. Okay, now back to the demonstration. So the next thing we do then is go on business invoices. Then we're going to click on repeating. So basically under invoices, this enables you to create new invoices. So these are like one-off invoices, but if we go on repeating, that's like a basically recurring invoice. Cool, so we're in there now. We're going to click new repeating invoice. The first thing to do then is going to tag it to Bill. So he's probably easiest if we put in the address. Let's call it 4 Smith Street. Rent. So what we need to do then is go at the top and just look into the dates. So the invoice date is going to default to whatever today's date is. So say your tenant normally people pay rent around the 1st of the month. So you want to receive the invoice. So you could send it out the 2nd, but if it's going to be out, it's going to be paid on the 1st of October. Let's give them a couple of weeks at least to look at it. So let's say the 16th of September, and we choose which day of the month it's going to come out on. So sorry, which day of the month it's going to be charged on. So let's go with the 1st. So that's going to mean that from October onwards, on the 1st of every month, they're going to be charged rent. So you can put an end date if you need to, but we can just leave it on an enduring basis. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fill in a bit of details as to what the details of the payment are. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, but just so we can see. So rent for Smith Street. Country is going to be 1. Now the unit price is going to be whatever the rent is. So let's say 1,000. The account you're going to put in here is going to be the accounting code that you use for revenue. So it could be rent receivable. In this case, it's sales, but yeah, you'd normally have something like rent set up, depending on how you have your chart of accounts set. As you can see in this case, it's defaulted to put in 20% VAT. It depends what country you're doing this in, but in the UK, certainly we don't charge VAT on rent. So that would be no VAT in this case. And so what we're going to do now is we need to do online payments. So there's a few things you do as well with branding. There's ways you can set up how your invoices look through the settings on Xero, but we're not going to worry too much about that now. But there's a way you can put your, for example, company logo on there and have your company register, office details, etc. on the invoice. But let's just leave that for now. So we're going to click on Manage here. And you can see there's basically a number of different ways collecting payments. So some of these are kind of in here already. So PayPal is kind of a default one. So yeah, PayPal is going to work globally, and that's a way you can kind of collect recurring payments. Another way is go cardless. So this is really useful. I use it for my accounting business. It does have kind of larger fees, I believe, than PayPal, but it's really because it basically means that you get an alert if somebody cancels their, basically get an email saying they've not paid their invoice. So it enables you then to, rather than waiting until you check your bank account, you've got an alert telling you to go and speak to this person and make sure you chase the rent. So that's a useful one to do. You have to set it up properly. I haven't done that in this case, but you set the account. It's really straightforward to do. That's can enable use Go Cardless, or alternatively you can use PayPal. So let's go back to the invoice. So in this case, we're going to default to PayPal, but my recommendation would be you get Go Cardless set up for the reasons I've outlined. Then once we're ready, we're going to click Save. Oh, there's an error there. That's my bad. So you need to make sure you tick the relevant section. So it's either Save as Draft, Approve, or Approve for Sending. In our case, we want to go for Approve for Sending. It's useful I did make that mistake, because if you do that, if you've set up online payments to say be Go Cardless, if you fail to select one of these three boxes, it will default back to the original one. So you just need to then go in and redo and add Go Cardless if you want to. So anyway, let's click Save now. And what it's going to do then is going to basically show you it's going to use an email, sort of email format, which you can go into your settings and edit. But you can also go into this email and edit it to show you to set your recurring invoice email as you want it. I would recommend you also tick this one to include PDF attachment. You can also have a copy sent to you if you wish to as well. So once we're happy with the email, we're going to then click Done. Cool. And you can see now that this recurring invoice is set up in there. And if you've got a series of tenants, you'll have a series in here of all the different recurring invoices. And the useful thing is if you agree to have, say, for example, rent rises with your tenant, it's really simple to just go back into the invoice. Obviously, you need to speak to this with your tenant before you increase the rent. You can't just increase it. You can, as you go, though, you can change this amount once you've agreed it with the tenant. So what we can do now is we can go on back into Invoices. And what will happen is, in fact, let's just change the date of this to today, just so you can see what that invoice looks like once it's set up. So on the 2nd today, click Save. And you can see there, you've got these invoices. The first one has now gone out, and this is what it's going to look like. This is like shows what the invoice looks like. Obviously, there's a template you need to set up to make yours look differently to this. Yeah, the idea is that your tenant basically gets a copy of the invoice, and they can set up automatic payments. Once they've set up automatic payments through Direct Debit, it's really straightforward. The money's just going to come out of their account as long as there's enough funds in there to do so. I'm just going to show you one more thing. What you can also do is, this is a useful way if you've kind of got a tenant who maybe hasn't paid their rent on time. We can go on to Contacts. In fact, no, this is a better way to do it. Go into Business, Invoices. Yeah, and here we are, Send Statements. And what this will show in here is it hasn't come up for the latest one we've decided in, but what it will basically give you the option is to produce statements for each of your tenants to show them how much they owe. So if they're behind on their payments, it will show you that they are, and you can send out a statement to them just to kind of help chase the rent from them. Another thing you can do as well is, so let's go back into Invoices. Yeah, so here we are. Invoice reminders is currently off as a default. But we can click in here. This is a good way of credit control. So it saves you, rather than having to kind of manually chase people, you can basically select here you can send an email to someone when it's 7 days overdue, 14 days or 20 days, or you can customize it to how you see fit. That's a way to help you chase debts on your behalf. So that's the end of the demonstration, but basically just highlighted this is a really good way of being able to manage collecting of rent if you directly manage your tenancies yourself. Gives you plenty of options, such as doing recurring invoices for direct debit. It means that if the direct debit is cancelled or the tenant doesn't pay their rent on time, you get an email reminder if you assume you use Go Cardless. And you can also, if they're late payments, you can send statements and also send automatic reminders to chase any outstanding debts. Hope you found this video useful. If so, please remember to like and subscribe for further content.